All right, well, happy Tuesday, guys. I'm going to, hopefully you watched the video from yesterday. If not, it's still posted. It's just an introduction on how to graph polars. Your project, you have to graph polars. You're gonna graph it on a cardboard using pins and yarn. It's a test grade. So I'm gonna go through some of the different types of polar graphs that you can graph on your project. So go ahead and look at this page here. It just kind of goes through the different kinds. There's 5 different types of polars, and I apologize because I'm probably saying these wrong. But for the first one is a circle. Notice that for a circle, you can have sine or cosine. So when you have a circle, if it's cosine, it is either going to, it's going to hug the x-axis. So it's either going to look like this or it's going to look like this. That's what your circle graphs are going to look like. So if A is positive, it's going to face towards the right. And if A is negative, it's going to face towards the left. And then you can also have circles where a hug the Y. So again, this would be A is positive, this would be A is negative. So I'm just kind of sketching it. Your 4 different types of circles on a polar graph. So on this first page, you're just going to identify it. So a circle is just a number, cosine or sine of theta. Limacon, it's either limacon, some people say limason. I really don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know the proper way to say it. But it's the only one that has a plus or minus in it, so that's pretty easy to identify. So if you have a number plus a number, or a number minus a number, then that would be a limason. A rose, there is a number being multiplied by theta. For a lemniscate, you have r squared. So that's the only one that starts with r squared. So that's the easy way to identify a lemniscate. And a spiral does not have a sine or a cosine. Okay, so let's go ahead and quickly take about 60 seconds. See if you can identify which one of these graphs are written below. If there was somebody who didn't get the note packet, there's some up there. I don't know when I passed them out, but I think it's at the very top. I'll let y'all be the first one to see. Is that it? Does it say polars?
It says has review.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all of that's all of the notes. It's all in there. So what do you think number 1 would be? It's the only one with an R squared. Yeah. So yeah, lemniscate. So anytime you see an R squared, that's what that is. So that's the only one that is an R squared. Number 2 doesn't have a sine or a cosine, so that's a spiral. Now when you graph a spiral, you have to switch your mode to radians. We won't be graphing those though, because that's not going to be on your project. For number 3, it's 2 cosine times a number. So a number is being multiplied by theta, so that would be a rose. So this number right here, that's how I know that this is a rose, because of that 3. For number 4, the only one that has a plus or minus is a Lie Mason. For number 5, yeah. Oh, it's either going to be a plus or a minus, not both. Yeah. So it could be 3 minus 3 or 3 plus 3. Number 5 doesn't have a sine or a cosine, so that's a spiral. Number 6, what do you think that's going to be? Which one? Circle. Number 7, again, we have this number that's being multiplied by theta. So that's going to look like a rose. It doesn't really look like, it looks like a flower. I don't know why they call it a rose, but that's what it looks like. And we'll graph those tomorrow. Number 8 is a circle. And what do you think number 9 is? Lie Mason or a limicon. I'm not really sure how to say that. Yeah, you could just put, yeah, you don't have to write the whole thing out. Okay, so we're going to skip around a little bit. We're going to do 1, 2, 4, and 6 today. 1, 2, 4, 6. So pick out a calculator. We're going to do these in degree mode to keep it simple. And we're going to simply substitute in all of our numbers, all of our angles. So starting at 0, $45, $60, $90, $120, $135. And then we're going to need some more, so we got to make a second table. We'll do 150, 180. So go ahead and start picking up your calculator, and you're just simply typing in -2 cosine 0, -2 cosine 30, -2 cosine 45, and just keep going down. Now, if you're using a yellow calculator, remember to hit that button above the enter key to put it in decimal form, if you have a calculator that puts it in the exact form. So go ahead, take a minute, substitute in those. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different angles. So pick up your calculator, type in those 9 angles. I mean, you don't have to write this part. I was just saying what you have to type in your calculator. So go ahead, start typing those in. And we'll round to the 10th place. So for the first one where it says 0, -2, so this is 0, so you're going to go backwards. So 1, 2, so it would fall right there because it's a negative radius. I'm sorry.
Should we give them like labels?
No, you don't have to label them. And then for the second one, 30 degrees. So this is 30 degrees. So you're going to go backwards, negative. So you're going to go backwards, -1.7. So it's going to be right in front of -2. And then at 45, it's getting a little closer. And then at 60, it's -1. And then at 90, you're at 0. And if you're in the back and you need to come up closer to see it, that's okay. At 120, we're at +1. So 120 is right here. So we're at +1, so that would be right there. And then at 135, we're at 1.4. And you can kind of see the circle. We already knew because it was negative that it would face to the left. And we knew it would go around, it would kind of like hug the x-axis, and we can kind of see how that is forming now. So truly, and if you look here, notice how, okay, wait. So 135. Okay, so 150 is 1.7. Okay. So notice how at the 180, it's a duplicate point. So 0, -2, and 180, +2 is the same point. So if you were to keep going around, like if you were to keep putting in numbers, you would just get the same points again. You would start finding that your points are overlapping each other. So when you start to realize that, you know you've plotted enough. So when you connect it, it should look like this. And that's what your graph should look like. It's just a project. So chapter 9 is a project, but it goes in the test category. You get 3 days to do it in class. You will be graphing 3 polars on a cardboard with yarn with a partner. And I'll introduce that more on Thursday. Wait, today's Tuesday, Wednesday. So Thursday, so you'll have Thursday, Friday. No, well, we won't count Thursday, but we'll say Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and it's due on Tuesday at the end of class. So short project, should be an easy A. All right, so what is number 2 going to be? Let's look at number 2. Yep, a Lee Mason or a Limicon. And I am going to give you a handout tomorrow that'll show the different types of polars and how to recognize them too. All right, so let's go ahead and start building our table. There really is no wrong way. I mean, you just pick numbers. Like you just start picking angles and substituting it into your table. So I'm going to start with 0. And I usually just go around the unit circle. And when you start to see your points overlap, you know you have enough. So I'm going to start with this, and I'm sure I'll need to make a secondary table, but let's start off with that. Go ahead, start typing those in. I'm gonna start plotting what I have, and then we'll see that we don't have enough. So we will probably need to make a secondary table and keep going towards 360. I do want to add at least 180 though. Let me add 180. Okay. So at the 45, so at 45 you have to go backwards. And again, I know it's like really small. I kind of have to use a fine point for me to graph these. So if you're in the back and you need to move up closer to see the points, feel free to do that. But this is going to look like, I'm going to show you, this is what it should look like. It should look like this. That's what it's going to look like. It's going to look like a heart with an inner loop. So that is what it is going to look like at the end. I'll leave that there. All right, so now we're at 60. Wait, did I do 45? So 45. So at the 45, I'm going to go backwards to about right there. And then at 60, I'm going to go backwards, a little bit closer to 1. At 90, I'm at -1. So I'm doing my inner loop now. And at 120, I'm at a little less. And then, so we can kind of see we have that inner loop forming there. So, and then at 180, I'm at 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and put some more points in. So let's continue our table. So we got through 180. So let's put in 210, put in 225, put in 270. Oh, I skipped 240. 240 and 270. So let's see what that gives us. So at 210, we're going out to the 2. And then at 225, we go out a little bit further out. 240. And then at 270, we actually hit the 3. So we need to keep going. So we can see our circle is forming now. So now we need to put in 300, 315, and 330. Go ahead and add those 3 points. So we had to go around the unit circle. So I got 2.7. Two point four. Two. So let's go ahead and plot those points in. So at 300, I'm a little less than 3. And then here I'm getting closer. And then that would be, that is your polar with the inner loop. All right, go ahead and go to question number 4. We'll skip 3. You can cross off 3. And let's go to 4. All right, so for number 4, it is a circle. Again, circles are pretty simple to graph. Because it is a sign, I know that it's either going to face up or it's going to face down. So it's either going to be the blue or it's going to be the purple. But because that's a positive 2, I know that it's going to look like this. So my graph is going to fall above the x-axis and it's going to hug the y-axis. So I am going to choose angles between 0 and 180 because I know that this graph is going to be in quadrants 1 and 2. I only need to use angles between 0 and 180. So let's go ahead and fill out your table. So I'm just going to start here and just go around. So 0, 30, 45, 60, 90, 120, 135, and then we'll do 150 and 180. So go ahead and get those points using your calculator, filling your table and graph. Okay, so that's your table. Did you get the same answers as I got? And you can see, so if you were to substitute in angles in quadrants 3 and 4, all of your points would overlap and all of your answers would be negative. So because we know what quadrant we're in, we can kind of save us time. We don't have to go around the whole unit circle because we know this circle is only going to fall in quadrants 1 and 2. All right, so let's go ahead and plot this out. So here, and then we go to the 1, and then it kind of just, and then you really don't have to even graph all of the points. You just need enough to help you. To get the picture. So you can kind of see it's just going to look like that. So the entire circle is not going to go past the second ring. All right, our last one for today is number 6. Number 6 is a limaçon. I'm going to find out how to say these words. I say limaçon, but then I also know some teachers call it a limacon. So, all right. So let's go ahead and start filling in your points. So, start off with 0 through 180 and see if that's enough points. And then we can, after that, decide if we need to go further. So we're skipping number 5 because of the R squared. We'll come back to number 5 tomorrow. So we're skipping to number 6 today, because this one should go pretty fast. So we got 0, 30, 45, 60, 90, 120, 135, and then make my secondary table. 150, 180. All right, so go ahead and type those in real quick, see what we got. So 0, we're all the way out here at the 4. Then we kind of start to come back in. Okay, so we definitely need the other half because that's only half of it. So let's keep going. So let's fill in 210, 225, 240, 270. Because it should be a full enclosed. And right now, we could see half of it. And the other half is a reflection, but I am just going to make the table. So 300, 315, and 330. So let's quickly get the rest. So to me, this looks like a heart because it kind of looks like this, but that's what it should look like. All right, so tomorrow we're going to pick up where we left off in our notes. We don't have a test for this last one. We just have our project. We'll talk about the project again on Thursday. If you have any questions, I will be here. I'm not staying after today. And I will try really hard to get your test graded and entered in the next 24 hours.